The Dr. Dre contract is hands down one of the best ways to make over $1 million completely solo in GTA 5 Online, and with its only 48-minute cooldown timer is why some would say it's arguably better than the CAYO PERICO heist, since that heist has a 2-hour cooldown timer. So in this guide, we will be going over the entire Dr. Dre contract heist, showing you the fastest way to complete it with my special tips and tricks, while also skipping every single cutscene to save time and complete this under 1 hour. Alright, so once inside the agency and signed into the computer, you want to start the VIP contract, which here you'll see all 3 of the different leaks that we need to complete. The first leak being the Nightlife leak, which this has a set of 3 missions, 2 setups, and then 1 finale. With the first setup mission being called the Nightclub, which is a very easy mission that has you go over to a nightclub and then enter inside through the goods entrance. From here, I would recommend going with the aggressive approach, since it is very easy taking out all of these enemies with a simple headshot, and once you take all of them out, you want to make your way upstairs to where the security tape is located at. Then once you got the tape, it is literally as simple as you exiting the nightclub and then delivering this back over to the agency, and just like that, we have now completed the nightclub mission. Second setup mission to the Nightlife leak is called the Marina, which is a very easy mission which Franklin has you go over to a green speedboat to begin, but that is not necessary whatsoever. To save a lot of time, what you could do instead is memorize these 2 locations where the yacht will spawn at, which is this first location to the left of LSIA, or this other location which is also next to LSIA over here on the bottom right. From there, get a fast flying vehicle like an Oppressor Mark II or a Sparrow, something with preferably lock-on missiles, because once you fly out there, you'll see the yacht in the distance, and then you'll be able to lock onto all of the enemies on the yacht to explode them. You also want to make sure that you are not flying that high in the air, that way the air defense doesn't shoot you down immediately, and also try to land on the yacht pretty fast. Once landed on the yacht, you'll then want to fight all of the enemies on there, which hopefully you took out some of them with the lock-on missiles, and then once you took them out, you want to enter in the main cabin, which you will see is locked. To unlock it, you want to make your way all the way up to the very top where the bridge is at. Once at the bridge, you want to enter inside, which there will only be 1 enemy to take out inside here. After you took him out, you want to come over here to the right of the controls and then click right D-pad to disable the air defense. This will allow us to exit the yacht with any flying vehicle of our choice that we landed on here with, like our Oppressor Mark II or a Sparrow, or literally any flying vehicle of your choice. Once you did that, you want to come over here to the left controls and then disable, or not disable, I mean unlock the main cabin door. Once we unlock the main cabin door, we can now exit the entire bridge and then go downstairs to where the main cabin entrance is at, and now we should be able to enter inside. Once in here, you want to find the promoter's evidence, which is just a computer with some CDs and also a magazine. It's pretty easy to find. In this case, I found it on the top floor, but sometimes it is downstairs in the rooms. After you took that picture though and then sent it to Amani, you then want to wait for Amani to contact you, but in the meantime, you want to be exiting this main cabin, and then once exited, you want to fly all the way away from the yacht. Once you flew all the way out, just like that, you'll see mission passed, and we just got $10,000 for this mission. So now that we completed the 2 setup missions for the Nightlife leak, we are now ready to do the finale for it. Which this finale is very easy. All you need to do is go over to the casino in any vehicle of your choice, and then once over there, you want to enter inside the garage and then make your way over to the elevator. Once up the elevator and then in the penthouse floors area, you'll then want to follow where the music is coming from. And once you found the penthouse, you'll want to enter inside and then find the promoter, which once you find him, you want to click right on the D-pad to steal his laptop. Then you'll be put through a cutscene, which you want to skip this cutscene. I also forgot, but to skip these cutscenes for the entire Dr. Dre contract, you will need to complete it at least 1 time. Anyway though, from here, all you'll need to do is chase the promoter through the entire Diamond Casino, taking out all of the enemies on the way over to him, basically chasing him into the actual music locker. And you'll see he will be hiding in the VIP area, which you could either take him out or not take him out, it's up to you. But after you do either one of those, you want to then take his backpack and then leave the music locker. Once we left, we are almost done. We just need to take out these 2 more enemies, which will be inside this truck spawned outside of the casino, which once we take them out, we can then use their vehicle or just use any other vehicle to drive back over to the casino to deliver this backpack. Which once you did deliver it, we have now completed the entire finale and also have completed the entire Nightlife leak portion of the Dr. Dre contract. The next leak we need to complete is called the High Society leak, which the first setup mission for this one is called the Country Club. All you'll need to do in this mission is go over to the Pacific Bluffs Country Club, which is very close here on the left portion side of the map, and then once over there, you want to hack the keypad and then enter inside. Once inside, there should be around 3 security guards in here that you'll just need to take out with a simple headshot, and once you took them out, you then want to go up to one of these computers and then click right D-pad. From there, you'll have access to the security terminal, which you now want to complete one more hack, and after you do that, you will now want to spawn outside of this building by simply exploding yourself or waiting for Amani to stop talking. From there, you'll then be given a search area to go search for a limo at, and once over there, you'll then want to find the limo, and once you find it, you either want to explode the entire limo car or just take out the driver. After that, you'll then be able to pick up the driver's wallet, which once you pick up the driver's wallet, you'll then want to deliver this back over to your agency, which luckily for me is right next door. Once we delivered it to Franklin, just like that, we have now completed this very first setup mission. The second setup mission is also very easy. It is called Guest List, which all we are doing is going over to a mansion in Lake Vinewood. Once over at the mansion, I recommend landing on the very top to take out all of his guards that will be guarding him, which keep in mind there will be a lot on the bottom and also all around him. Which for the ones around him, you want to be very careful because we don't want to accidentally take out the lawyer. We do want to have him alive so we can shoot him with a stun gun at the very end. Because once you did take out all of the guards and then stun gun the lawyer, you then want to click right D-pad on his body to put his alive body inside of this car. Once he is inside the car, all we'll then need to do is deliver his body back over to the agency, which once we did like this, we are now completely done doing this second setup mission. It's now time to do the finale for the High Society leak, which in my opinion, this one might be the hardest out of all of the different missions in the entire DR DRE contract, but with my specific tips and tricks, you shouldn't have any problems whatsoever. Getting straight into it, what you first want to do is drive over to the billionaire's mansion, but before you enter inside the mansion, what you want to do is call out your vigilante if you own one, of course, which I personally would recommend owning one for this specific mission since it makes it way easier. Once you have the vigilante, you then want to enter inside the billionaire's mansion by entering through the gates, and then once inside, you'll then want to use some of your missiles to start exploding the cars here in the front. Once you exploded some of the cars, which keep in mind you don't want to waste all of your missiles because towards the end you'll see why, but once you did, you then want to exit the vigilante and start exploding or taking out all of the enemies around you. From there, push forward where I'm going, where the main DR DRE's music is being played here at this DJ, and once you are in front of the DJ, you'll then want to wait for all of the enemies to arrive and then start taking all of them out. There also will be a helicopter, which you of course want to explode with a minigun or anything of your choice, but once you did take out all of the enemies and also the helicopters, eventually you'll have intimidated the billionaire enough to leave. Just like that, once the intimidation bar is all the way full, you'll then be put through the cutscene of the billionaire leaving the mansion, which you of course want to skip this cutscene also to save some time, and once you go through that cutscene, you then want to go quickly over to where we parked our vigilante here inside. Once in the vigilante, you quickly want to start following where I'm going, where the helicopter will be along this road, and then you want to lock onto the helicopter with your vigilante's missiles and then explode it. And you'll see these missiles on the vigilante are so overpowered and do lots of damage. That's why I said to call this specific vehicle in, because it only takes around 2 to 3 missiles to destroy the entire billionaire's helicopter. Once you destroy the helicopter, it will then tell you to follow the billionaire's helicopter, which you don't want to do. To save some time, what you'll actually want to do instead is explode yourself a total of 3 times. Because on your 3rd time, it will say mission failed, but then it will give you the option to quick restart the mission, which is what you want to do. So click R2 or RT from here. Because from there, once you're put back inside the mission, you'll be spawned over here where the billionaire's helicopter crashed, and it's so simple from here because all we'll need to do is get inside of our vigilante, go over to where the billionaire landed at, and then take him out to pick up his phone. Once you got his phone, all we need to do is deliver this back over to the agency to complete this entire finale, which my favorite way to go back over to the agency is by flying over inside of the Fort Zancudo airbase behind us and then getting a laser. You definitely don't need to do this, but the laser jet is way faster to fly over to the agency, but you definitely could just drive this vigilante back over to the agency instead. Once over there though, just like that, we have now completed this entire finale, which should have paid you just around $10,000 once again, like for all of the other setup missions. Getting into the very last leak that we need to complete, this one is called the South Central leak, which the first setup mission for this one is called Davis. A very easy one that has you go over to a location which will be a cavalcade that you need to get inside and then wait for Vernon to get in the passenger. Once he is inside, you then want to drive him over to a location at La Mesa over near a gas station. Once over there, you'll then need to eliminate a whole bunch of dealers, which once we take out all of the dealers, we then have two different choices, either getting inside of this white van with the meth equipment inside and then driving away, or just waiting here for the last 4 waves of dealer enemies to arrive. In my opinion, I just basically get inside the van pretty much every time and drive far away because I know where the drop-off location is at almost every time, which is over here at this area where I'm at on the map. Once over here though, and you lost all of the enemies and also all of the cops, you then want to deliver this van over to the drop-off. Which once you did, just like that, we have now completed this entire first setup mission to the South Central Leak. Second setup mission is called the Ballas, which is a very easy one that has you go over to a location once again to get inside the cavalcade with Vernon and then drive him over to Davis. Once over there, you'll basically be in the middle of a gang attack, which you want to just worry about the people in the cars. So whenever you see any enemies in vehicles spawning in, you automatically want to explode all of them. Once you did explode all of the vehicles, you'll then notice all of the enemies start running away, and then it will say to follow Vernon. So from there, follow Vernon all the way through this alley up to a garage entrance, which once inside this garage, he will then be intimidating this person. Then once he finishes talking to this person, you'll then want to exit the garage and then leave the area. Once you left the area, just like that, we have now completed this second setup mission. Finally though, getting into the finale for the South Central Leak, this one is a very easy finale because all we are doing is going over to meet Vernon and P near the Davis Mega Mall. Once you meet them there, you then want to follow them over to the Rancho Projects where the Vagos are located at, and then once you find the Vagos, you will then want to fight all of them here at this location. Which also during this part you can definitely skip that cutscene, but after you did take out all of the enemies, you'll then see one of the lowriders disappearing because they will be escaping with Dr. Dre's music. So from there, you'll quickly want to get inside of your NS Jubilee and then chase down that lowrider to take out the enemy driver. Once you take out the driver, you then want to stop the car and get inside and then drive this lowrider back over to the agencies to complete this entire finale. And just like that, once you deliver this lowrider back over to the agency, we are now done doing all of the leaks for the DR DRE contract. All we now need to do is one more last setup. But this last setup mission is a little bit different from all of the rest of the missions that we were just completing because in order to start this one, you don't want to go over to the computer inside the agency. You actually want to come over here to this yellow circle inside the agency and then click right D-pad. From there, you'll be put inside of the very last setup mission, which is called Studio Time. And in this mission, I recommend to call out a vigilante once again. Because with the vigilante, it makes it way easier once you arrive over to Record A Studios since you'll automatically be able to lock onto all of the enemies and also vehicles to explode them with no problems whatsoever. Then once you eliminated all of the hired gunmen with your vigilante, you can then enter inside Record A Studios, which once again, you'll need to take out a whole bunch more of hired gunmen inside this studio. And once you took all of the enemies out, then made your way over to the main studio where DR DRE is inside of, you'll then be put through a really long cutscene, which before you weren't able to skip this cutscene, but luckily now we are able to skip this super long cutscene, which was like 5 minutes long. So thanks to Rockstar, we finally are able to skip all of these cutscenes, but anyway, once you complete the entire mission, you'll see mission pass and you'll get paid once again just under $10,000 and also some RP, but we are now finally ready to complete the finale for the DR DRE contract. Just like we did before with the last setup mission, in order to start this finale, you also want to go over to the second level of your agency, go on top of this yellow circle, and then click right D-pad to start the finale, which is called Don't F with Dre. Once you are inside the mission, I also would recommend again to call out your vigilante if you own one and then drive it over to Johnny Gunn's last known location. Once over there, drive where I'm going here on top of this railroad tracks and then start shooting your missiles over to where Johnny Guns is located at. From there, you'll automatically be put through the cutscene of him driving away in his Dominator, and after he escaped, you then want to take out all of the enemies here at this area. Once you took out all of the enemies, you then want to steal one of these enemies' vehicles and then drive over to your vigilante to then drive this vigilante over to LSIA. Once at LSIA, enter inside, take out some of these enemies, and then you'll want to explode this gas tanker to the left. Once you did that and the coast is clear, climb inside this gas tanker, follow I'm going through the entire gas tanker over through the other side, and just like that, we have now skipped the entire fight scene of all of those enemies on the other side of this hangar. From here, you simply want to follow where I'm going over to this staircase where you'll want to go up these 2 flights of stairs and you'll see Johnny Guns up here. From there, shoot him a couple times and he'll fall to his knees. After, click right D-pad to grab him and you'll be put through once again another long cutscene that we are luckily able to skip once again. So once you skip this cutscene, you'll then be put inside of the Tally GTB with Dr. Dre, and all you'll need to do from here is simply drive Dr. Dre over to the country club. Which once you do, he'll then exit your vehicle, get inside of his billionaire's helicopter and fly off into the distance. Once he flies off into the distance, just like that, we have now completed the entire Dr. Dre contract, and here's how much money you'll get paid. Because once again, we can't skip that cutscene since you didn't see it, and you'll get paid $1 million and also a total of over 1,200 RP. Which, if you ask me, is definitely some great money to be earning in GTA 5 Online, especially considering that you could complete this entire Dr. Dre contract in under 1 hour. And the best part is, if you want to do this heist over again, all you'll need to do is wait only 48 minutes. Anyway, that is now going to be the end of today's video. You now know the best plus fastest way to complete the entire Dr. Dre contract as a solo player in GTA 5 Online in 2026. If you went on to enjoy my video and you still haven't already, please do me a favor by going down below and dropping a like on it before you click off. And of course, if you aren't, make sure you definitely hit that subscribe button also. And with all that being said, until next time, I will see you all in my very next video. Peace.